The snow was falling hard on the frozen world of Velmara 6. The sky was dark, full of wind and ice. The storm was stronger than normal. Anyone caught outside would not last long. In the middle of the storm, a small ship fell from the sky. It was damaged, smoking, and spinning. The ship hit the ground hard and slid across the ice. Inside were two alien sisters, Kayla and Rhinari. They were from a race called the Tharnai. Their skin was soft purple, their eyes bright silver, and their bodies thin and graceful. The Tharnai came from a warm world and hated the cold. Now they were trapped in a frozen wasteland. Kyla, the older sister, groaned as she pushed open the ship's broken door. Snow blew into the cabin. Her hands were shaking, her body cold. "Rhinari," she said softly, turning to her younger sister. "We must leave the ship. The fuel is leaking. It might explode." Rhinari was breathing fast. Her hands hugged her body tightly. "It's freezing, Kayla. I can't feel my legs." Kayla helped her stand. The two sisters wrapped themselves in thin emergency cloaks. They had no time to find better supplies. Every second, the wind grew stronger. Kayla looked. Around, there was nothing but ice, snow, and white fog. "No signal," Kayla whispered, checking her wrist device. No ships, no cities, nothing. They were alone on this dead planet. Still, they started walking. Their boots crunched in the snow. Their cloaks flapped in the wind. Rhinari coughed. Kayla pulled her closer. "We'll survive," Kayla said. "We always survive." But even she didn't believe her own words. Far away, in a small outpost made of thick metal and stone, a human was working inside a garage. His name was Jack Carter. He was a tall man with strong arms, a short beard, and a calm face. Jack was a mechanic and explorer. He lived alone on Velmara 6, fixing machines and studying the land. Most humans had left this part of the galaxy long ago, but Jack liked the quiet. That night, he was checking a weather drone when a weak distress signal flashed on his screen. Jack leaned closer. "That's strange." The signal was old Tharnai code. It was coming from deep inside the snowlands, an area no one ever entered during storms. Jack checked the radar. "Too far for anyone else to help," he said. "I'm the only one nearby." He grabbed his thick jacket, goggles, snow boots, and laser rifle. Then he jumped into his snow hauler, a big vehicle with treads, heaters, and a strong engine. He turned the radio on. The signal was getting weaker. "Hang in there," Jack whispered. "I'm coming." Kayla and Rhinari could no longer feel their feet. The wind had turned to ice blades. Rhinari fell face first into the snow. Kayla screamed and pulled her up. "Rhinari, stay with me. Just a little farther, please." "I'm so tired," Rhinari whispered. Her lips were turning blue. "It's so cold." Kayla looked up at the sky. Snow filled her vision. She wanted to cry, but her tears would only freeze. Suddenly, a rumbling sound came through the snow. Kayla turned fast. Through the blizzard, two big lights appeared. A loud engine roared. Then a machine rolled over the hill, a big snow vehicle. It stopped in front of them. A door opened, and a tall figure stepped out. "Hey!" the figure shouted through the wind. "You two all right?" Kayla fell to her knees. Rhinari collapsed into the snow. The figure ran over and picked up Rhinari in strong arms, then helped Kayla up. "I've got you," he said. Inside the warm cabin of the snow hauler, the sisters lay wrapped in heat blankets. Jack turned up the heaters. He gave them hot water and soft food. Rhinari was still unconscious, but breathing better. Kayla watched the strange being, this human. "You saved us," she whispered. "Why?" Jack smiled. "Because I couldn't just leave you out there." Kayla's silver eyes looked into his. "You're human. We thought your kind left this galaxy." "Most did," Jack said. "I stayed. Guess I got lucky." He gave her a translator device. She clipped it to her ear. "What is your name?" she asked. "Jack Carter. I am Kayla. My sister is Renari. We were on a peace mission. Our ship failed." "You're safe now," Jack said. "We'll get you warm first. Then I'll fix your comms." Kayla nodded. Her hands still shook. She looked at her sister, asleep and warm for the first time in hours. "Thank you, Jack Carter," she said. "You saved our lives." Jack nodded and looked out the window. Storm's still bad. You'll have to stay a while. Kayla didn't mind. For the first time in days, she didn't feel afraid. The snowstorm outside raged for another 2 days. But inside the outpost, a strange warmth had begun to grow. Jack brought the sisters tea, shared his food, and told funny stories about Earth. Kayla was serious and careful. Rainari, when she woke up, was more playful and curious. "Why do you live? Alone?" she asked one night. Jack smiled. "It's peaceful. No one bothers me out here." "But it's lonely," she said. Jack shrugged. "Sometimes." Renari looked at her sister, then whispered, "You think he's handsome?" Kayla blushed. "Renari, be respectful." But she couldn't deny it. There was something about the human, his strength, his kindness, the way he looked after them without asking for anything. She watched as Jack fixed her broken wrist device. He worked with focus and care. His fingers were strong, but gentle. Not many would have come out. "In that storm," Kyla said later. Jack looked up. "Didn't seem right to leave anyone out there. Doesn't matter if you're Tharnai or not." The sisters exchanged a glance. Rainari smiled wide. "I like this human." Kayla said nothing, but her heart was warm. The fire crackled softly inside the outpost. The storm outside was still strong, but inside, everything felt calm and warm. Thick metal walls protected them from the cold winds, and the heater hummed quietly in the corner. Jack Carter, the human mechanic, walked into the room with a tray. On it were 3 mugs filled with steaming hot herbal tea. He placed one mug in front of each of the alien sisters, Kayla and Rainari, and kept one for himself. "Careful," Jack said with a smile. "It's hot." Rainari sniffed the drink, curious. "It smells like tree bark," Jack laughed. "That's because it is. Local plant. Good for the throat." She sipped it slowly, then smiled. Sweet." Kayla sipped hers, too, quietly. She sat upright, her silver eyes watching Jack closely. Her long purple fingers wrapped around the warm mug. The warmth felt good against her skin. Jack leaned back in his chair. "So, who exactly are you two? I mean, it's not every day a couple of Tharnai nobles crash near my outpost." Kayla nodded. "We are part of the House of Solari. Our family leads peace talks between different alien factions. We were traveling to a neutral system when our ship was hit by a power surge. Storm must have messed with your systems," Jack said, thoughtful. "Lucky I picked up the signal." Renari leaned forward, grinning. "Lucky for us, you mean?" Jack smiled again, but said nothing. As hours turned into days, the storm outside refused to stop. Thick walls of snow covered the windows. But inside the outpost, the 3 of them started becoming more like a family. Jack taught the sisters how to use the Earth-style kitchen. He showed them how to make soup, how to work the old music player, and how to repair small tools. In return, Rainari shared stories about Tharnai art and music. She sang soft melodies in her language, her voice light and beautiful. Kayla explained Tharnai politics, war history, and noble traditions. One night, Jack made a simple human dish, boiled potatoes with melted cheese and herbs. "This is delicious," Rainari said, her mouth full. "What is this called?" "Poor man's dinner," Jack joked. "But glad you like it." Kayla gave a rare smile. Simple, but comforting. After dinner, they sat near the fire. The flames danced. casting shadows on the walls. Renari curled up with a thick blanket, watching the orange light. Jack checked his datapad, fixing a broken comms line with Kayla's help. She sat close beside him, their shoulders nearly touching. "You have a good heart, Jack," Kayla said softly. He looked up, "Just doing what's right." "Still," she said, looking into the fire, "it's rare. Many would have ignored a weak signal in a storm." Jack shrugged. "I've been alone for years. I know what it feels like. I didn't want anyone else to feel that way." Kayla's eyes softened. "You saved us from death. That's something I will never forget." The next morning, Rainari woke up before the others. She wandered into Jack's small workshop, where she saw strange Earth-made machines, tools, drones, and mechanical arms. Jack was fixing a cracked energy battery. He didn't notice Rainari watching him at first. "You have skill," she said. Jack looked up and smiled. "Learned most of it on Earth before I left." "Why did you leave?" she asked, walking closer. Jack paused. Earth was crowded, noisy, too many wars, too much politics. "I wanted peace." She sat beside him. "And did you find it here?" "Sort of. But peace can be lonely too." Rainari tilted her head. "I like your eyes, Jack. They're kind." Jack chuckled. "Thanks. I like your energy, always asking questions. I want to know you better," she said softly. Jack felt his face warm a bit, but said nothing. Later that day, Kayla joined Jack on the roof of the outpost. The snow had stopped for a while, and the sky was clear. The icy hills stretched for miles. Bright stars sparkled above them. Jack handed Kayla a pair of old binoculars. "You can see your moon from here." Kayla looked through them and smiled. "Beautiful." They stood in silence for a while. "You trust people easily?" Kayla said suddenly. Jack raised an eyebrow. "Not always, but sometimes you just feel it." Kayla nodded. "We Tharnai don't trust quickly. Our people believe in honor, respect, and deep bonds. When someone saves your life, especially from death by nature, it creates something special." Jack looked at her, puzzled. "What do you mean?" Kayla turned to him. Her silver eyes reflected the stars. "In our culture, when a noble is saved by someone from certain death, especially alone and helpless, it is seen as more than gratitude. It is a sacred tie, a deep connection." Jack blinked. "You mean like a life debt?" "More than that," Kayla whispered. "A potential mate bond." Jack coughed. "Wait, what?" Kayla smiled gently. "Do not worry, it is just tradition, but we will not force anything. You have already given us more than we ever hoped for." Jack didn't know what to say. He looked back at the stars. "You're very different from what I expected," he said. Kayla replied, "And you're more human than the stories say." That night, Renari sat beside Kayla in their sleeping area. She leaned close and whispered, "Do you think he feels the same?" Kayla looked thoughtful. "He is kind, strong, and honest. I think he is still unsure." "I like him," Rainari said with a smile. "He's warm, like the fire." Kayla gently placed her hand over her sister's. "We'll see. Let him choose." Later, Jack sat alone near the fire, staring into the flames. He felt something new in his heart, something he hadn't felt in a long time. He thought about Kayla's strength, Renari's curiosity, their soft voices, and their laughter. They had brought color into his gray, quiet life. He looked at the snow outside, now glowing under the moonlight. "I saved them," he whispered. "But maybe they're saving me, too." The cold wind had stopped howling, and the snow had finally become quiet outside Jack Carter's outpost. It was the third day since he saved the two alien sisters, Kayla and Renari, from freezing in the storm. The ice-covered hills were still deep with snow, but the skies were clearing. For now, everything seemed peaceful. Inside the outpost, things were warmer, not just because of the heater or fire, but because of the bond growing between the human and the two alien sisters. They shared meals, stories, and quiet laughter. It felt less like survival now, and more like something meaningful. But peace never lasted long on Velmara 6. Jack was outside checking a power line when he saw something strange. Big footprints in the snow, too big for any man or common animal. He knelt down and touched one of the prints. It was fresh and deep. He narrowed his eyes. This isn't good. He followed the tracks for a short distance and stopped. The snow ahead was disturbed, like something large had been moving around circling the outpost. Jack returned quickly, locked the door, and grabbed his plasma rifle. He walked into the main room, where Kayla and Rainari were playing a Tharnai board game. "Trouble?" Kayla asked, noticing the weapon. Jack nodded. "Something's out there, big, and it's been watching us." Rainari's smile disappeared. "Is it one of those snow beasts?" "Could be," Jack replied. "I've seen one before, big, fast, and angry." Kayla stood up calmly. "What do we do?" "We prepare," Jack said. "I'll set motion sensors and load the turrets. Stay inside and keep low." He handed Kayla a small blaster and gave Rainari a stun rod. "I hope you never need to use them," he said, "but just in case." Rainari's hands shook as she held the rod. "I don't like fighting." Jack gave her a gentle smile. "Neither do I. But we protect what we care about." Kayla's eyes met his, and something unspoken passed between them. Night came fast, and with it came silence, too much silence. Jack sat in the control room, eyes watching the monitor screens. Snow blew softly outside. The sensors blinked, waiting to pick up movement. Kayla joined him, wearing one of Jack's jackets. It was too big for her, but warm. "Will it attack tonight?" she asked. "I think so," Jack answered. "It's been circling, testing us." Kayla looked at him closely. "You are calm, even when danger comes." Jack smiled slightly. "Been through worse." She sat beside him. "You saved us from death, and now you protect us again." "Why?" Jack thought for a moment. "Because I care about you. Both of you." Kayla was quiet. Then she said softly, "In Tharnai culture, that kind of care is very rare. It's sacred." Jack turned to her. "And how do you feel?" She didn't look away. "I feel something new, something strong, and I'm not afraid of it." Jack reached out and gently held her hand. Her fingers curled into his. At that moment, the alarm blared. Red lights flashed. One of the motion sensors had been triggered. Rainari screamed as the outpost shook. Jack grabbed his rifle and shouted, "Stay in here! Lock the door!" He rushed to the hallway window and looked out. A huge, furry beast with glowing blue eyes stood outside. It was taller than a truck, with long arms and sharp claws. It roared, smashing the outer turret with one swipe. Jack ran to the defense panel and activated the second turret. A blast of energy shot from the roof, hitting the beast's shoulder. It screamed but kept moving. "It's not stopping!" Jack yelled. Kayla appeared beside him, blaster in hand. "Let me help!" "No, it's too dangerous," Jack shouted. But Kayla didn't back down. "We face danger together." Jack nodded and they ran to the front door. He opened a small panel and aimed his rifle. Kayla fired beside him. The beast slammed into the door, bending the metal. "Too strong," Jack muttered. "We need a trap." He remembered the emergency coolant tanks stored in the back. The gas inside was freezing cold, deadly to organic creatures. "Cover me!" he shouted, then ran. Kayla shot at the beast, keeping it back for a few seconds. Jack dragged one of the coolant tanks to the front and opened the release valve. He rolled it outside and ducked back. Cold gas exploded in the air, covering the beast in freezing mist. It howled, stumbled, then finally collapsed into the snow. Everything went quiet. Jack breathed hard. sweat running down his face. Kayla lowered her blaster. Renari opened the door and ran to them. "You're both okay," she cried, hugging them. Jack nodded, trying to catch his breath. That was too close. Later that night, the sisters sat with Jack near the fire. Everyone was tired but safe. Renari leaned on Jack's shoulder, eyes half closed. "You really are a warrior," Jack chuckled. "Just a mechanic with good aim." Kayla was quiet for a while. Then she said, "Today, I saw something clear. You didn't just save us once. You protected us again even when you could have been hurt." Jack looked at her. "I'd do it again," Kayla nodded. "In our world, such bravery and care means something powerful." Renari sat up. "It means you are worthy." Jack blinked. "Worthy of what?" The sisters looked at each other. Then Kayla said, "Of becoming part of our family." Jack's eyes widened. "You mean," Kayla nodded, "in Tharnai tradition, a noble may choose a mate who proves loyalty, courage, and compassion. Today, you showed all three." Renari added, "And we both feel something for you." Jack was speechless. "Wait, both of you?" Kayla's voice was calm. "It is not strange for our people. Sister bonds are strong, and we both care deeply for you." Jack looked at the fire, then at the two sisters, one brave and wise, the other playful and kind. He smiled. "I don't know what to say." Kayla gently touched his hand. "You don't have to say anything now. Just know. We are serious," Renari whispered. "And patient." Jack laughed softly. "You've already changed my life. I guess anything's possible now." Outside, the snow was calm again, but inside, something warmer than fire had begun to grow. The cold wind had stopped, and the sky was clear. After the fierce snow beast attack, the quiet felt strange, almost too peaceful. Jack Carter sat by the window, watching the stars. His thoughts were heavy. The sisters, Kayla and Renari, were resting, but soon everything would change. Suddenly, the distant hum of a large ship broke the silence. The sisters rushed to the window, eyes wide. "A rescue ship," Kayla said softly. Jack stood and went outside to see. Far above, shining bright and silver, a Tharnai royal ship descended slowly, its engines glowing with soft blue light. The ship's symbol, a golden sun with twin moons, was clear. "This is your family?" Jack asked. Kayla nodded. "Yes. They came after my distress call." Renari smiled nervously. "We're saved." The big ship landed near Jack's outpost. The door opened, and a group of Tharnai guards stepped down. They were tall and proud, wearing shining armor with bright colors. Their faces were calm, but alert. At the front was a woman wearing a golden crown. She walked with grace and power. Kayla gasped softly. "Mother." The queen looked at Jack. Her eyes were sharp but kind. "You must be the human who saved my daughters." Jack nodded and stepped forward. "Yes, ma'am. I found them in the storm." The queen studied him for a moment, then smiled. "You have our deepest thanks. Few humans would brave Velmara 6's storms." Kayla and Renari stood proudly by Jack's side. The sisters looked like noble princesses. The guards bowed to Jack, but he shook his head. "I only did what anyone should do." Inside the royal ship, the atmosphere changed. It was warm and bright, with tall windows showing the stars. Jack walked carefully, still wearing his thick coat. The queen invited them to a great hall. There, important nobles and advisors gathered, the room filled with soft music played by Tharnai musicians. The sisters looked nervous, but proud. The queen stood and spoke. "Jack Carter, your courage and kindness saved not only my daughters, but also the honor of our house." She turned to Kayla and Renari. "Tradition requires that when a noble is saved from death by an outsider, a sacred bond may be formed." Jack frowned, confused. "What kind of bond?" Kayla stepped forward. In Tharnai culture, this bond is like marriage. It honors the life debt and connects families. Rainari added, "It is a great honor, but it also means sharing life together." Jack felt the weight of their words. He looked at the sisters, then at the queen. "Are you saying you want me to marry you?" he asked quietly. The queen smiled. "You are offered this choice, Jack. Carter, to join our family or to leave as a friend." Kayla and Rainari stepped forward together. "We wish for you to stay, to bond with us." Jack's heart beat faster. Two sisters, noble princesses, wanted to share their lives with him. He swallowed hard. "This is a lot to understand." The queen nodded. "We know this is strange for your kind, but Tharnai ways are ancient." She told Jack about their culture. In their world, the bond was not about possession, but respect and love. The two sisters were allowed to share one mate, as family ties were very close. Jack listened carefully. He remembered the warmth he felt around Kayla and Rainari, their smiles, their care, their courage. The queen continued, "Jack Carter, if you accept, you will be honored as part of our house. You will share life, duties, and joy with these sisters." Jack looked into the eyes of Kayla and Rainari. Both looked hopeful and kind. "I need time to think," he said honestly. Kayla smiled gently. "Take all the time you need." Rainari nodded. "We are not rushing you." Days passed on the royal ship. Jack learned about the Tharnai world, their cities made of crystal and light, their gardens that bloomed under twin suns, and the music that filled the air. Kayla showed Jack old paintings and stories about their ancestors. Rainari took him to a small garden where strange glowing flowers grew. One evening, Jack sat with the sisters under the stars on the ship's balcony. "I never imagined this," Jack said softly. "From a lonely mechanic to this." Kayla took his hand. "Life changes fast," Rainari smiled. "You brought us back from death. We want to give you a new life." Jack looked at them both. "I'm scared. I don't know if I'm ready." Kayla squeezed his hand. "You don't have to be perfect. Just be yourself." Rainari leaned close. "We love you." Jack's heart filled with warmth. For the first time in a long time, he felt hope. The day of the bonding ceremony arrived. The royal ship's hall was decorated with flowers and glowing lights. Nobles and citizens gathered to witness the event. Jack stood between Kayla and Rainari. The queen smiled proudly. The ceremony was simple but powerful. They exchanged symbols of their bond, a silver band for Jack and matching rings for the sisters. Jack felt a deep connection in that moment, not just with the sisters but with their whole people. After the ceremony, the crowd cheered. Jack looked at Kayla and Rainari, who smiled back. He knew his life had changed forever. The great hall still glowed softly with light from the recent bonding ceremony. Jack Carter stood between the two alien sisters, Kayla and Rainari, feeling a mix of calm and excitement he had never known before. His life as a lone mechanic on a cold, quiet planet had changed completely. Now he was part of something much bigger, a family, a tradition, and a future filled with hope. After the ceremony, the crowd slowly left the hall. Jack, Kayla, and Rainari walked together through the crystal corridors of the royal ship. The soft hum of the engines mixed with distant music. Jack looked at both sisters. "I still can't believe all this is real," Kayla smiled gently. "It is real. You are with us now." Rainari squeezed his hand. "And we will face everything together." Jack nodded. "I never thought I would find this. Love, family, hope." Kayla looked at him. "You saved us from the cold. We saved you from loneliness." Jack's chest felt warm. "Maybe we saved each other." Days passed quickly. Jack learned the ways of the Tharnai court, their customs and their gentle rules. Kaela taught him about their languages and history. Rainari showed him how to enjoy life even in small moments, like watching stars or tasting new foods. Jack was amazed by how different their world was from his own, but also by how much they cared for him as a person. Sometimes, in quiet moments, by the ship's windows, the three of them sat close, sharing stories about Earth, the Tharnai homeworld, and the adventures that had led them here. One evening, Jack found himself on the balcony with Kayla. The twin moons glowed softly over the crystal city below. Kayla looked at him with her bright silver eyes. "Do you miss Earth?" Jack smiled. "Sometimes, but now I feel I belong here." She reached for his hand. "We want you to be happy and safe." Jack squeezed her hand. "You've made me both." Meanwhile, Rainari was planning a small celebration. She wanted to welcome Jack fully into their culture. She gathered music, food, and gifts for the three of them to share. The celebration was simple but full of joy. They laughed, danced, and sang songs of old Tharnai legends. Jack felt alive, something he hadn't felt in years. Rainari looked at him and said softly, "You are part of us now." Jack smiled. "I never expected this, but I am glad." As days turned into weeks, Jack grew closer to both sisters. They shared duties, laughter, and quiet times. Kayla was calm and wise. She planned for their futures and helped Jack learn more about the universe. Rainari was playful and full of life. She kept their spirits bright even during hard days. Jack loved them both, each in a different way. It was new, strange, but wonderful. One quiet morning, Jack woke to find Kayla and Rainari waiting for him with gifts. Kayla held a small crystal pendant glowing softly. "This is a symbol of our bond," she said. "It shows you belong with us." Rainari gave him a woven bracelet made from threads of glowing plants. "And this is for your heart, so it never feels alone." Jack felt tears in his eyes. "Thank you. I will wear them always." They smiled and hugged him close. Life was not always easy. Jack still missed Earth sometimes. The new responsibilities were many, and the weight of joining a royal family was heavy. But with Kayla and Rainari beside him, he felt strong. One day he stood on the balcony again, looking at the stars. Kayla and Rainari joined him. Jack took their hands and said, "I promise to protect you, to love you, and to be worthy of this bond." Kayla nodded. "And we promise to stand with you." Rainari smiled. "Together, always." News of Jack, the human who bonded with two Tharnai princesses, spread across the galaxy. Some were surprised, some curious, but most were inspired. They told stories of his courage in the storm, his kindness, and the new family he created. Jack never forgot where he came from, the cold, lonely world of Velmara 6. But now, his future was bright and full of love. Under the twin moons with the stars shining above, Jack held Kayla and Rainari close. The cold was gone. The loneliness was gone. What remained was warmth, the warmth of family, hope, and a new life.